What is it, YouTube? HTJ here, and good evening to you all. Today, we're going to be taking a look at some of the content. Well, we're going to take a look at one of the two decks that I used for the anti-spell festival that happened in Master Duel. While I didn't do much participation, some of the stuff is actually still online, so if you guys want to check it out, you definitely can. It's part of the live stream archives that I have from my main channel. I had a bit of fun. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I tried my best, but ultimately it just did not pan out for me. I believe the reward that you got for it was the Loop of Destruction, which was a modernized variant of Ring of Destruction that is just really bad. Um, because old ring is always better. That's why it had to be around us. But yeah, it was one of the rewards that she got. I wouldn't be surprised if we had an anti-trap, um, variant coming up soon for the event. And I tried my best with this deck. I'm not gonna lie. I decided to run Counter Fairies as one of the two decks. The other one I will do a video for as well to correspond with this. But yeah, it was something I was just like, oh, well, it does make sense for playing it. And then I was like, I really do have to focus on trying to build this out. And I don't think I really built it the way I should have built it, or I didn't give myself enough time to really look at things. Because there's a lot of things that definitely should have been in here, like Vindalgan is a card that definitely should have been in here. Hip Shenanigan for some attack boost so that my monsters could take out things or be walls if I needed them to. Probably the Dogmatica engine was probably a bigger letdown because I have all these really cool cards, but the corresponding effects, I guess, were just like you really don't have ways to search for them because you don't have Nadir Servant. So what are you really going to do with them? It was kind of really just a last minute idea of, well, this is meta, or this is really good against meta. I guess I'll throw it in, and I kind of shouldn't have done that, but I did. So yeah, while we go ahead and we take a look at the deck itself, what I'm just talking about. So, 3 copies of Bountiful Artemis, 3 copies of Guiding Ariadne, 2 copies of Herald of Purple Light, 2 copies of Herald of Orange Light, 2 copies of Honest, 2 copies of Sacred Arc Air Knight Parshaft, 3 copies of Dogmatica Ecclesia, the Virtuous, 2 copies of Dogmatica Fleur-de-Lis, the Knighted, 1 copy of Dogmatica Maximus, and 2 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs. And if I didn't say them already, 2 copies of Honest. Then for the trap cards, 3 copies of Fallen Sanctuary, 3 copies of Rebirth of Parshaft, 3 copies of Divine Punishment, 3 copies of Dogmatica Punishment, 3 copies of Ultimate Providence, 2 copies of Red Reboot, and 1 copy of Solemn Judgment. Then 3 copies of Elder Entity Nest for the extra deck, as well as the 1 copy of Titanic-clad, the Ash Dragon, 3 copies of Avenging Air Knight Parshaft, Utopia Ray, Utopia the Lightning, 1 copy of number 41, Babuska, the Terribly Tired Cape Eater, 1 copy of Exorcist Ecalesia, and then 3 copies of Herald of Mirage Light. So yeah, that is basically all of the cards in the deck. Like I said, this is Counter Fairy. So I was building basically on taking advantage of Artemis to draw every time I activated a counter trap, guiding Ariadne, to where I didn't have to use any type of I didn't have to pay for life points. I didn't have to discard to activate. I still had to reveal, but I didn't have to um, use other things in order to do um, to activate my counter traps. Which there are so many different options of counter traps I could have easily put into the deck as well. The Sacred Arc Air Knight. This was a big letdown because I rarely summon this, and this is definitely something that I think I should never put into the deck, or maybe should never put one of. because there could have been better choices, like maybe bumped up my art, my herald, so that way I could have things to discard. But what he was supposed to do was be the beat stick or be the boss monster of the deck, where when I after right after I activated a counter trap or negate the effects of a spell, a trap or a monster, you can just banish two other fairies from hand, field, or grave, and then summon him to the board. And then um, I could easily attack a defensive position monster, do some piercing damage, and then get a card with Power Chef as its name, or get a counter trap from the deck. That way, it would speed up the process, and I have things to counter other things. It's a great idea in theory, but I feel like without the actual Sanctuary of the Sky, this card was completely useless to me. Being as though I was playing a card to treat itself as Sanctuary Sky, and I was falling Sanctuary, where this card is Sanctuary Sky while it's on the field in the grave. Its ability is that when it's activated, I can set a Sanctuary Sky or a Cellar Trap that mentions it directly from my deck to the field. Most likely, out of 9 out of 10, I was either getting. I was most likely getting the only other card I could correspond with was a copy of Divine Punishment to negate the effects of a spell trap or monster. Problem is that they can be activated once you set them through this card's effects. So even if I did get maybe another copy of this card, or I did put this card set, I couldn't flip it. And I was like, oh, that's pretty bad because if I can't flip this, I don't have anything to counter a lot of the things that were going on. So yeah, that was a big letdown. Then the heralds, which are heralds, they're there to discard a fairy to counter stuff, countering traps with purple, countering monster effects with orange. Rarely even had a chance to even use either because there was really like not too many decks using an abundance of monster effects, and as you can see, I'm only running two. So yeah, there was the whole thing of well, if you had the third one, you'd be able to draw into it a lot faster, and you'd be able to negate it. And that was everything. The others, I'm running two honest, and there should have been a third as well, but I did not have the gems to produce an honest. Sadly enough, I was producing enough packs to pull the honest, but I never pulled an honest out of the pack. I had to generate it. The other was Dogmaticas. The Dogmatica stuff really for the least was the big one because I was just knocking down things with Fleur de Lis. Um, Ecclesia to search for either Fleur de Lis or getting punishment. Maximus did absolutely nothing, and I think just like the Parshaft cards, she was probably just another card that needed to have the X out. And maybe adding in the other Ash Blossom, another take out the Ash Blossom, putting in another orange light, putting in another purple light to help the deck itself. And then in abundance to it, most of the counter traps did what they needed to do. I think the biggest letdown was that Solemn Judgment was completely useless to me, and I regret actually putting in deck. If I had known this was still at 2, I would have taken this out as well and probably put in maybe another 3 of counter trap that I could have taken advantage of, or maybe put in some of the um what's those cards? The Paleozoics, so that I have things to balance or things to banish, and things like that. But yeah, it unfortunately it just is what it is. When it comes to it, the dynamic administrators did help try to flesh things out, especially because I am running our girl Elder Entity Nest. So she's popping weak monsters. No, she's popping cards while this is popping cards, so I can get rid of things as soon as possible. I wish I was kind of running higher level vanillas as well, to send to the grave, but really the only reason why you're really running punishment is you're gonna run Nest or you're running Titaniclad so that you can send them to the grave. Titaniclad actually was my bigger searcher for the Dogmatica cards so that I could put a lot of them get a lot of them to hand, stuff like Ecclesia, getting to Fleur de Lis or Maximus or punishment as soon as possible. Nobody thinks it's only against monsters, right? Yeah, it's only against monsters. So basically, between Fortalice and Ecclesia, those are the bigger two I was getting. And most of the other extra deck, I did not use any of it at all. I think maybe the one time I summoned Parshaft. I think he got destroyed. So that was kind of like, oh, that is a thing. The heralds were completely useless. Um, I really, like I said, this is just, it was, let's build Counter Fairy. What do I think Counter Fairy will look like? I should have kept to the drawing board. And I think you see me struggling a lot too during the live stream. It's like, oh yeah, I really don't want to play any of these, or I want to play something different. And that's ended up why I played Yosenju after this, because I'm gonna do a video for Yosenju as well. Um, but I think worked out a little more better. But at least giving this the first try and at least not running away from it like I thought I would. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for Counter Fairies. It was a short-lived, sweet situation, and maybe next time I'll try a little bit better on the build and get things together. So, with that said, this is gonna wrap up the video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel as it helps out tremendously. You can also hit me up. You also hit the notification bells to be informed of when I upload more content to the channel. Also, social media links are in the description box below. So you want to catch me on social media, you definitely can. And um, I am active on Twitch at twitch.tv/HarpiePlayerJoe. And the polls are now up for the next live stream choices. So if you guys want to, whatever games that are on the list, if you guys want to see them, one of them be played, or which order of them you want to be played, definitely go ahead and take a vote. So thanks everybody for watching. I'll catch you awesome people next time. HCJ signing out. Take care.